Awesome. So yeah, on the right is my deck list I used to get to rank 38 legend. I only played like a couple of games. A few of the last games I changed Ragnaros to the Ancient of War, and I do think it's a better fit right now. But let's just go over from the start. Yeah, so we have... I'm not going to comment on the standard picks like Innovate, Wild Growth and all the class cards. Just the differences. So I do run a Zombie Chow, a lot of people don't. Those people are probably the ones that run double combo as well. I do not, but that's... yeah, that's the reason is I prefer a little more board control style. I'm not the person that likes to rely on my combo to win, and that's the only way I win. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm going for, and that's also why you see that I do not run Emperor Thorison. I instead have Sylvanas. A lot of people run both. What do they cut for that? Probably the Zombie Chow. So yeah, I cut one Force of Nature, one Emperor Thorison for Zombie Chow, and the Ancient of War, perhaps you could say, because I think people that run double combo usually don't run Ancient of War. Well, there's a lot of differences, but I mean, there's a lot of nuances you can and paths you can go. This is the path I chose, which relies a little more on board control and getting it early versus hunters and Zulocks with the Zombie Chow and also the Acidic Swamp Ooze I put there because I think it's sufficient. I do not run Harrison. I run only the Swamp Ooze. Some people run both, and I think that's definitely viable to cut the Azure Drake for the Harrison Jones. Right now I feel like I do not need it. I'm at this point I'm 23 and 10 versus Warriors, and yeah, that's a 69% win rate, so that's higher than my current total win rate of 64.8. So I'm perfectly happy with just the Swamp Ooze. Yeah, maybe the Patron matchup is a little worse because there were quite a bit of control warriors among those 33 games. And I played Druid from rank 10, I believe. And I played 83 plus 45 games from rank 10 to Legend, and that's... how many is that? That's 128, yeah. So of 128 games, 33 were warriors. So that's about 25%, or a little, yeah, pretty much exactly 25%. 26 games were against hunters. So if you add 26 plus 33, that's close to 40-45% hunter and warrior. So I have either Harrison or Swamp Ooze, or both, is definitely something you want to do in basically any deck right now. Because if you face 40% weapon classes, and then there were a couple of rogues as well, and I actually didn't face a single shaman, but yeah, a couple of rogues. That was like 7, so that brings it up to almost 50%. against weapon classes, that means definitely you want to run Booster Harrison, and I think skipping the Drake for Harrison is doesn't matter. Yeah, you can do that. One difference I have from many decks is that a lot of people love to run double Shredder. I love Shredders too, but I think the Senjin is just so strong versus both Patron and Hunters, and also Zulok and to some extent versus Tempo Mage, which are like the roughest matchups. Tempo Mage and Patron, I guess, but yeah. Yeah, so basically just as I said in the beginning, we're going more for board control here. So having a Senjin is pretty strong, and like the Pile of the Shredder can be fodder for patrons if what comes out is a 2 or less attack. So this is guaranteed to at least block one enraged patron, or potentially 2. So dropping it before they get to run the combo is usually a decent move. The Ancient of War should also be a really strong card versus Patron and Hunter, and yeah, basically versus Patron and Hunter, which is 45% of my games almost. So I decided to switch it in over my last few games here. But I was running Ragnaros before. But while on a toilet break, I thought about it, and it didn't really make sense because it's not really strong versus either Hunter, Patron, or Sue, and those are more than 50% of my matchups. And it's not very strong versus Tempo Mage either, only if you can innovate it out. And to be honest, I would rather innovate out an Ancient of War on any turn. So yeah, I guess that's the gist of it. Go more for board control with this deck. Only one combo. Don't rely on drawing the combo as much. I've been running Azure Drake over Harrison mainly because I felt like I have good enough win rates versus the weapon classes with only an Acidic Swamp Ooze. And Azure Drake is obviously a lot better in other matchups. Yeah, actually I forgot Paladin. I did really well versus Paladin. 8-1, but it's a small sample size, so it's hard to... Probably variance, because it should be a non-favorable matchup. But that brings the weapon classes over 50% actually. So yeah. Harrison can definitely see it here instead of the Azure Drake. I've seen a couple of people skip Lothab for Thaurissan. I don't like that. I really think Lothab is one of the strongest cards in the game. For its ability to disrupt combos. Like, I don't think I would be able to play very well versus Freeze Mage without Lothab. He's just such a strong card to play out when he's about to clear the board, or about to yeah, like the best use is probably if you're sitting on a decent board, you've been able to silence his Doomsayers, and he's just frozen your board. He hasn't cleared it. He has like a block up maybe, and it's turn 6. It's about to become turn 7 when he wants to play. He wants to play the Flame Strike to clear the board, or at least almost. You just dump Lothab, punch his face, if you got enough stuff on the board, of course. So, like a couple of times I've been able to put Lothab on the board, pop his block, and then he's just screwed, because on 7 mana you can't play another block, and you can't clear the board, and yeah, so it's just game over. So Lothab, I feel like is super strong, and also innovating out of Lothab versus like Hunter, Temple Mage, or Patron Warrior is a pretty good move. So yeah, you could probably argue that innovating out Thaurissan versus those is also good, but yeah, I just didn't really find Thaurissan that good in this for my style of play, because I go more for board control than finding the combo to win. If you do run 2 combos, 2 Force of Natures, then you probably want to skip some cards to run Thaurissan. Yeah, you definitely want Thaurissan. Other than that, yeah, probably skip the Summershot for Thaurissan. And I don't know what to cut for the second Force of Nature, but yeah. Anyway, my deck, board control, finish off with a combo. That's about it. I think it could be viable to skip Dr. Boom if you want to go even more defensive. And you could run 2 Wars, or even a second Sludge Belcher, or a second Sanjin perhaps. You want to have an earlier curve. Yeah, it definitely would be viable. I just feel like Dr. Boom is so strong right now. I mean, he's called Dr. Balance for a reason. My win percentages this run has